So let's recap where we've been in this little bit over an hour-long workshop. We began by just welcoming you to Inside Mathematics. We really hope that this resource is going to have direct relevance to your work with classrooms, whether you work directly with students as a classroom teacher, whether you support teachers learning as a coach, whether you facilitate professional development as an administrator or a district leader, or if you prepare teachers, as I do. We started by looking at the tour of Inside Mathematics, where these videos are housed, as well as the professional conversations with classroom teachers, mathematics coaches, and school principals. Then we looked through these tools for educators, which include these resources developed by the Mathematics Assessments Resource Service. I'll actually spend a little bit more time talking about that in a moment, but that you can view these by grade and by content area. We looked at a couple of those. We looked at the tools for coaches involving these resources that both links to videos of coaching as well as all of these different resources to support the work of coaches. Tools for principals and administrators, thinking about how does one get this work going, mathematics reform going at the school or district level. Then we looked at the classroom video visits at some length. And we looked at the public lessons, at the number talks, one of which contains a number talk and one of which links to a problem of the month. So again, just to remind you, you can take a look at all of these from 4th grade all the way through high school level. And all of these teachers, we have over 20 hours of video available on this website for you to interrogate, to review, and to take a look at some of the subtleties of these practices. I think that particularly for those of us who prepare novice teachers, either pre-service or in the first few induction years, sometimes it can be difficult to see some of the subtleties of classroom practice. It seems that accomplished teachers, when they're in front of kids, somehow it seems magical. And I think that when we have the chance to look deliberatively and slowly and with the sort of without this sense that something is going to go by and you're just going to miss it. If you're watching something live, there's this sense that if I gaze over here, it means that I'm not looking over here. But if with these videos and with the records of classroom practice and with the examples of student work that are gathered here, you can really start to get a sense of how these teachers are managing that complexity in their classroom, doing a lot of different things at the same time. And then lastly, we looked at some of the ways in which looking across these tells us something about mathematics teaching over the sort of K to 12 span. What happens in those earlier grades that then bears fruit many years later? I think that that's a particularly powerful lesson here. Lastly, I want to just remind you that in About Inside Mathematics, you can take a look at the different people who were involved in the creation of this work. Also, though it's not quite up at the time of this video recording, there will be a link here to frequently used terms that are on this website to help support your understanding of the concepts here and help you in your work to get other teachers thinking about these things. One of them in particular is more information about the Mathematics Assessment Resource Service. This is the initiative based in the UK that developed many of these tasks that the Noyce Foundation is now able to make available to you. So actually at toolkitforchange.org, it's a separate website where many of the resources having to do with these tasks are located. So I think that for those of you who found that particularly generative in this series of videos that I've taken you through, this may be an interesting place for you also to check out. So I really want to thank you. I also want to have this sort of leave you with an invitation of sorts. I think it's been my experience in working with teachers and making their practices public that it is incredibly powerful to see other people teach. It's a great opportunity to observe classroom practices, to observe teachers and learners in action, to reflect on connections to your own classroom, as I've invited you to do throughout this video. But I also want you to consider making your own practice public, because I think that too often teaching, as Lee Shulman says, evaporates, and it persists only in the memories of the participants. So that your students may have this powerful, visceral memory of a lesson that you all went through, but over time that fades. And I think that the more that we are able as practitioners to take the practices that either we've refined over time and want to share, or that we feel that we need feedback on, and that we can somehow take a video, a piece of student work, a reflective document that we've authored, and share it with each other. That can start to accomplish this literal and metaphorical opening of classroom doors that I believe is very powerful, not only for ourselves, but the profession as a whole. So I really want to thank you for spending this time with me. I really hope that these resources prove as exciting to you as they have to me. And I think that we're really all in this together as teachers, as educators, as leaders. And so I look forward to learning from your contributions as well. Thank you.